Hello, everybody. Today I'm starting a new series of videos. It's a new season called Mindful Physiology. But before I start talking about today's topic, I want to share why I'm talking about physiology in this channel of wholeness. When I started my journey into cooking around 10 years ago, my main intention was to discover new flavors. That was my focus. With time, I started being curious about where the ingredients I was cooking were coming from, how the plants grew, how a carrot looks like in the field, how the coriander that I use a lot as a spice, as a herb, it looks like as a plant, how the seed it looks like. And I realized I didn't know anything about 80% of the ingredients I was cooking with. Then, continuing with my journey, I started being again curious of how the food that I was preparing and the cooking methods I was using, how was that affecting my body? And that was the time when I did a deep immersion into nutrition. I started learning how the biochemistry of all the food affects the biochemistry of the body, and realized again that I knew almost anything about how the body works, or at least I missed or I was not paying enough attention in my biology classes at the school. So this was a big wake up for me and really made me interested to be more interested into these topics about the physiology of the body. So for me, there is a very intrinsic connection between physiology, nutrition, cooking, and eating. Because when we start tuning and understanding what the body does for us, what does the heart, what does the kidneys, how our senses work, in a more detailed level, we become more respectful in the way we treat our bodies. So then we want to learn a little bit more about nutrition and then bring those concepts of nutrition into our tables and even motivate us to cook our own food at home, and then after eating, especially in a way that we enjoy every day, everything that we eat. And that is very powerful because that moves us out from being listening to all this information around food, around new diets, what do we need to eat, do we have to spend a lot of food in very luxurious food or superfoods to keep nourishing our body. All the information, when we understand how the body works and what are the nutrients that we need, and when we tune into our bodies, then naturally we will know what to eat and how to eat. So this is the intention of these videos. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. Today I'm gonna talk about homeostasis and allostasis. There are two physiological mechanisms that for me are the foundations of all the physiology of the body. So I hope you enjoy. To start with this topic about homeostasis and allostasis, I invite you to take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Take a second breath in and release any tension you might have in your body. Take a last breath in and release. Now Imagine yourself in the womb of your mother. You are warm inside, and you know that your time has come to arrive to this world. Just imagine for a moment how your mother is feeling at this time. Suddenly, you feel the first contraction in the uterine muscle of your mother. You are just observing everything inside there. And at that very moment, a sign is sent to the pituitary gland in your mother's brain to release a substance called oxytocin, which increases from now on the number and frequency of contractions. After some time, you are out from your mother and welcome into this world. This mechanism, which pushed you out, happened almost without the control of your mother and welcomed you into this world, leading to the miracle of birth. Breathing in this moment and thanks your mother for the miracle of life. Breathing out and thanks your body for the mysterious intelligence. Breathe slowly, and while you smile to yourself, leave the moment of your birth behind. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, pay attention to your breathing. Exhale. Now, I want you to use your imagination for the second example. Imagine that you are walking in the street of your neighborhood and you pass in front of a bakery. It's 3 p.m. and the smells invite you to go inside. You opt for that cake or cheesecake, brownie or sweet that you cannot resist. Do not buy it yet. Just check in this moment what just happened in your mouth. Did something change of just imagining that piece of sweet in your mouth? Breathe in and imagine you have the first bite now. You feel very excited and enjoy slowly your cake. While you are eating your cake, your body is working hard. The cake increases the levels of glucose in your blood as soon as you give your first bite, or even before, even when you were thinking to buy that cake. At that point, your body, in an attempt to keep you safe, starts some processes. Your pancreas secretes the hormone insulin that stimulates all the skeletal muscles and the fat tissues of your body to absorb glucose from your blood. It also triggers the liver cells to convert glucose into a substance that can be stored in the body to use whenever it's needed in the future when the levels of glucose are low. In other ways, the body reacts in a way to take out all the glucose in that cake out of your blood, and this results in blood glucose returning to a normal level in your blood. As long as your body is working in a general good condition, you won't perceive all these actions of your body. The movements in your mother's womb at the moment of your birth and the sugar level regulation in the body are physiological and behavioral responses called homeostasis. Homeostasis says that when there is a change in the body, that change is detected by a sensor, and that sensor signals a comparator, normally the brain, which checks the set point of what should be and then elicits a physiological and sometimes behavioral change to return everything to the set point. In other words, the return to return the body back to the balance. There are many other situations of homeostasis, like the blood clotting, for example, when we have an accident. The body reacts quickly and sends some signals and chemicals for the blood to clot quickly so we don't lose all our blood. Or another example is the barrel reflex in blood pressure, which helps to maintain the blood pressure at nearly constant levels. Otherwise, we will be in danger. And many more examples that the body uses to keep us safe all the time. But why the concept of homeostasis is the foundation of understanding physiology, at least from my point of view, and at least also from a mindful level, because from the beginning we understand that the body has in place naturally many mechanisms for self-regulation and return the body to balance. Also, because with this concept we understand that the body has trillion cells. Those trillion cells form tissues, and those tissues build organs, and all of them, they have specific optimum conditions that they thrive in, and when they are working in relatively harmony, we experience health. When they are not working in harmony, we experience illnesses, and the body created mechanisms for self-healing when the conditions are not very severe. So to sum up until now, in this very moment that you are watching this video, there are so many processes happening in your body that you maybe are not even aware of. Some of them are actually imperceptible, but all of those processes are working right now in your moment to keep you alive, to keep you in balance. Understanding this concept of self-regulation of the body, it really helps us to view illness from a different perspective, so we know what is this imbalance that is happening in the body. But not only that, but it creates more spaces and moments of appreciation for our bodies, and from there we treat with more respect our bodies, and all our actions become more conscious, because we know that the body is working hard to keep us away. So let's continue with the second part of this topic. Many years after I learned about homeostasis of the body, I came across with the Gaia theory, the concept put forward by James Lovelock and Lynn Margulis, that all living things are part of a planetary scale self-regulating system that has maintained habitable conditions for the past 3.5 billion years on Earth. The Gaia hypothesis or Gaia theory says that the temperature, oxidation state, the acidity, and certain aspects of the rocks and waters are kept constant, and that this homeostasis is maintained by active feedback processes operated automatically and unconsciously by the biota. Homeostasis, under this view, is the ability of ecological systems to maintain stable system properties despite perturbations. In other words, the earth and the biota inside have also, like our bodies, self-regulating mechanisms to keep the planet in conditions for us to live. Okay, now we move into the second concept of today. For that, imagine that you are about to join this person in the picture that you are looking at into the icy waters. You are ready to jump there with him. If you recall a similar moment, maybe you remember that before jumping, your body started shivering and caused goosebumps to appear before you get cold. And by starting that before the actual challenge of being in the cold water, your adaptive response is much quicker and more efficient. Another example of allostasis is that in a especially stressful environment, say that when you cross in front of an angry dog, you might maintain elevated blood pressure relative to your normal baseline. So the blood pumps quicker to your legs and they become ready to run away because there is danger. In other words, you anticipated that there is going to be a danger and your heart rate increases and your blood pressure increases before the danger so that we can react even quicker to it. In other words, allostasis is the efficient regulation required to prepare the body to satisfy the needs before they arise. And like in the case before jumping into the icy water, we get goosebumps as opposed to the homeostasis, in which the goal is a steady state, like regulating the sugar levels in your blood. In the example of the dog, after the danger has passed, the body returns back to the normal blood pressure levels, thanks again by the process of homeostasis. So far, it sounds very straightforward and kind of leading us to think that we are perfectly designed machines. But however, what if the stressful situation is not the risk of being in danger by a dog? That is a situation that can happen and goes quickly, but facing a highly emotional situation in life, like a burnout at work, for example. In this case, the period of danger is longer and pronounced. The allostasis mechanism here becomes more complex because in this case, how does the body know that the danger is gone? That there isn't a stressful environment anymore? Or send their signals quickly for the body pressure and heart rate return back to normal? This doesn't have a straightforward answer yet in how it works in the body, but because to understand how everything comes back to balance, especially in all related with our emotions after the stress, we have to understand the person as a whole, their life experiences and their complexity, and how they perceive safety, because we all perceive safety in a different way. So we react in different ways. And that is the reason why health should be addressed with a holistic approach. And this is coming from understanding the concepts of homeostasis and allostasis. To recap, today we review two different processes, physiological processes, homeostasis and allostasis. There are again two physiological processes that the body has in place to deal with any change we experience. I'm gonna put another example here. When we get an infection and we get a fever, the body increases the temperature internally up to 39. Then the body starts sending a lot of messages everywhere to protect all the main organs of our body against this rising temperature, this fever, and at the same time started doing some mechanisms like making us feel shivering, and we start sweating. So with this sweating, this liquid from the sweat, it helps to reduce the temperature of the body. So it's the mechanism of the body to start reducing the temperature. Like this one, as I mentioned before, there are so many self-regulating mechanisms that the body uses. They happen automatically and almost without our intervention, at least consciously, and they are happening second to second, minute to minute, and moment to moment in your life to keep you alive. So in this very moment, it's not only our whole entity that feels alive, but so many processes and cells that are thriving inside to be able to process the information that I share with you now. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.